Good afternoon, everyone. It is October 6th, 2025. It's Monday, and it's about 1:15 in the afternoon. I was supposed to record this morning, but I've been running around like crazy. So let's just see exactly where we are at this point, right? So this is where we left off on the weekend. And what I was saying was I was looking for Bitcoin to come up and take out this liquidity, right? Which means that it needed to come above. And that's where I was looking to get into a short, which I did. I got into a short, and I was in profit this weekend because you could see here we got hit, it came down, and now it's bumping back up. Right? So I am still in my short. I am living this out right here. I put enough risk in there that if I do get stopped out, that's okay. I am looking to DCA in at this point right over here. This is my DCA point. And yeah, so if I get stopped out, so basically what I did was I put my first entry in, which is usually a little bit lighter than if I put a DCA in here, which is a lot heavier of an entry, right? So far so good. I still feel like this is a good zone to be in, and let me explain why. Remember, we were down here. This was my long that I took, and I've taken profit along the way, and now I've closed out this trade completely up at the top here. I didn't close it out because I wanted to. I accidentally closed it out, but it was enough. Like I'm satisfied with it. So what I'm looking for now is I'm looking to pick up another long, right? So in order for that to happen, this needs to pull back. And there are two places that I'm looking for it really to pull back. Like you see this wick right over here? This wick revisited this line right here, which is, if you look over here, this was the resistance, and it came and made its support, but I don't feel like it gave it enough of support, right? So what I'm hoping for is I'm hoping for it to spike up one more time and then come over here and grab some support and then continue out that way, right? So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a little bit of a pullback so I can get into a long again. In the meantime, I am in a short, right? And I am looking to add on to my short right here. Now, let's just say that this trade doesn't work out at all. So meaning like I get stopped out, right? We are kind of at this position here where there's consolidation, there was manipulation, and we're in continuation. So I'm actually looking for the next leg up. And because there is absolutely no historical data in the past for the section that we're in, because we're at our all-time high, I am willing to be patient about getting into another short. I really need to see if it's worth doing. On the other hand, I am looking for a long, and that's something that I will be hunting for. I'm looking to start a brand new long because I've made enough profit coming up here that I'd like to kind of jump in again. So really what I'm looking for is I'm looking for this golden pocket to be hit. That's what I'm looking for. I would love this golden pocket to be hit again before it bounces up. Meaning like it pops up here, it comes over here, it starts to get some support, and then it blasts right off again, right? Just something to show that we revisited this zone and we can kind of like take off from there. So that's what I'm looking for. Now, what I think is happening is this: if we go over to Ethereum now remember, I said before that I was looking for Ethereum to come up to this top area right over here. Now, I still think that this top area is in play. Now, look what happened here. On the weekend, it slowly creeped above this 50% zone, right? And that's what I was looking for it to hook on, but it created this pattern here that is a pretty strong bullish pattern. And you can obviously see that Ethereum has moved up a lot more than Bitcoin, and that's what I was hoping for, right? So if I were to measure this from 50% all the way to the top here, this is about almost a 10% move. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking for this guy to be taken out, but I'm also looking for this guy to be taken out. So that means that I would be looking for a short somewhere around here. Now, this area, okay, is a huge question mark to me. Now, what I did was I took a long in this section right here, right? And I've held it for quite some time, and I've taken profit along the way. I also DCA'd back into it, throwing my profit back into there and doing a rinse and repeat, which I'm pretty happy with what I've got. What I'm looking to do is take some more profit over in this zone. But if you notice, going back over to Bitcoin, that there is this pretty big gap of just up, right? We've gone up. So what I feel is that Ethereum is actually dragging Bitcoin up. If you notice, Ethereum is at 4% right now. And if I go over to Ethereum dominance, you can see we're starting to kind of like peak out on that bounce zone, right, that I had. We came down to the end, and if you watched any of my videos from last week, what I explained was if we can come down here and kind of like mitigate this bounce zone, then I think we're going to do like a really crazy move on Ethereum. And that still to me is in play. Ethereum right now is the winner for me. So like this is I'm looking for Ethereum to really do a crazy move. Like so, but I am not really opposed to it coming over here, rejecting a little bit, coming down, sweeping this area, and then taking off. So I would be looking to add on to my long as well. So where is the zones that I'm looking to add on for? Well, honestly, I would really love for it to hit this golden pocket again and to hit the midline again, right? So if it comes up here and then bounces right over here, this is, I feel like this is going to be a pretty good play. So right now, I am not looking to take a short on Ethereum, but I will consider it. The reason why is because if you take a measurement from the top here to the bottom, that's from the top of this order block here to the bottom is almost a 6% move, right? So to me, it feels like it's worth the swing, right? But it all depends on what it's going to do in this section. So taking out this right over here. Now, again, you know, I'm not really sure how this is going to play out, but I will say this. Crypto is starting to feel very, very bullish to me. And not only am I talking about Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? Which, you know, Bitcoin is doing its thing. I am looking for it to get up around the 150,000 mark, right? But that's not really that exciting to me. What's exciting to me is that a lot of these coins here are starting to take off. A lot of these alts are starting to really make some really good moves. Like, you know, 6%, 10%. Here's a 10% move on Bonk, you know, and then I've noticed that there are some other ones that are really kind of flatlined that are making some really ridiculous moves. Here's Plume right over here that did a 20% move. You know, here's Cake. Cake is really starting to rip. And if you were to look at my chart that I marked up here, like, let's go to the day chart because then you can see more. Look, really, truth be told, these are still at the bottom. They've got so much more to go. And if I were to take this and measure from here to up here, you're talking about maybe a 6, 7x. And I think that's on a minimum, right? So there are a lot of coins that are prepping to make really solid moves. And, you know, I'll give you another example. Let's go take a look over at Cadena, right? So here's Cadena. And you can see right here, like, if you take a look at the full chart, spectrum, right? Let me turn this off because this is a bit distracting. If you take a look, I mean, like, hey, from here to over here, from 32 cents to just the top of where that range might be, which is $2. I mean, what are you talking about there? That is what, almost an 8x, right? Something like that. Let's see here. Yep. That's about an 8x from here. So if you were to get into any one of these positions, I mean, take a look at OP, right? OP is a support for Ethereum. So if Ethereum starts taking off, this should also take off. If we get this even back over here, you're talking about a 2x move, you know? Like, Like that's a good amount, you know? XRP, all of these things, like everything is starting to feel like we are about to get into some kind of run, right? And it really starts with the idea of Ethereum really kind of like taking off, right? Ethereum needs to break its all-time high. And a good example of that really is like BNB. If we go take a look at BNB, let me see if I can find it. I think this is the only one I didn't put in alphabetical order. Let's see here. Sorry, give me a minute. Where are we? BBB. There, BNB. Look at this. BNB is like, woo, it is ripping. And this is where it was during the bull market of 2021, right? And look at where we are now. I mean, it completely dropped during the bear market down to the bottom here. This is a 5x move at this point, right? And it's still going. It looks really good. And what I'm seeing is I'm seeing the opportunity for a lot of these other coins to kind of like do very similar things. Now, it depends which one you choose, but we are starting to feel like we're about to see a good couple months run. Okay, so that's the exciting part as to where we are right now with Bitcoin and Ethereum. So Bitcoin can go and hit, its 150, K mark, which everyone would be cheering for. But really, the idea of getting into any one of these other positions in some of these altcoins is even more exciting than that, because you're not talking about like if I were to measure from here to over here, you're talking about a 20% move, right? But on some of these other coins, you're talking about 200, 300% move, stuff like that. So definitely be on the prowl, right? And Ethereum is really kind of like, it's got a solid move, but these kind of solid moves need to have a bit of a pullback, right? And it always needs to test, some area of resistance before. So even though we are starting to get bullish, now one of the things is, I've said this before, where, let me go to the 12-hour chart here, where I said before is there are two things that happen in these areas, right? One is if we are in this area, we are going to zero. And if we get over into this area, we are going to the moon. Okay, they're really extremes. Now, mind you, we might be going to the moon. We might be, taking off. It might be completely 100% bullish. But it can't be 100% bullish as a healthy move without some kind of pullback. And during that pullback, regardless of what, is an opportunity for you to grab some kind of gain, right? And figure out what you're going to do. Are you going to go long? Are you going to hold this short all the way down to the bottom? Is it going to go down to the bottom? So now we're in a whole new, kind of inverse thinking, right? The idea is that we are possibly going higher because we are in continuation, but we have to still keep things in perspective. You can't get extreme. We still need a bit of a pullback. And over here, this area right here is a good place for a long, even if it's a tap. So this might be a good place to kind of scale into a long, right? And let's go take a look over at Ethereum real quick, right? Let's take a look. So Ethereum, again, I'm still in this long here, but it is very similar to Bitcoin. We need to come back over here to this golden pocket. So I would be looking for that. Now, mind you, I can run with it right now, but I can add on to my long right now, but that's not a smart thing. Don't chase it. Let it come back to you, right? So that's where we are right now. We are in a very interesting position in crypto. We're about to be in a discovery zone for not just Bitcoin again, but also Ethereum. And, and discovery just means we have no data in the background. And if you notice, like things like BNB, when there's no data there, it becomes like quite a show. Let's see here. Let's just go run over to BNB. I don't know where it is, but I think you get the point. Well, no, you know what? No, I'm going to show you my point. Let me find it. Let's go. There it is, right there. Okay, so here, like here's an example, right? So this was an analysis that I did earlier on, and it was again, it was the idea of consolidation, manipulation. There were two manipulations and then continuation. And notice how that it's running, right? But look what it's doing. It's got like these order blocks that it has, and there's really like shallow pullbacks to these really tight order blocks, right? So here, look, here's a tight order block right over here. It came down enough to tap it, right? Um, and now it's moving up. It's created another order block like this. So this will run up, and then eventually it has to come back and tap these guys and then work its way back up. So we are in a very, very interesting time, and it's really exciting. I'm looking forward to see what's going on, and I'm going to take my time, be patient about my moves. In the meantime, again, even though we are super bullish on Bitcoin right now, I will wait to see what this is going to do in this zone, but I am now planning for a long in this zone. Anyway, hope that was helpful. Talk to you guys later. Talk to you tomorrow.